The name's Dad. Button Mash Dads. How cheesy, right?
That is the best
That
intro.
is the best intro ever. Welcome to this episode of Button Mash Dads. Mash movies. On this episode, I am so excited. This is one of my favorite movies.
Based on one of the greatest N64 games ever made.
Goldeneye.
Right. Did you know that they made a movie based on that video game?
What? You don't say.
When you told me there was a movie, I was like, based on the video game, we got to cover this.
Obviously, Goldeneye, 1995 movie. It was Pierce Brosnan's first role as James Bond. He would go off to star in a couple other James Bond movies as well. But this is the video game is obviously based on this movie.
Right. We'll get into that, I think, a little later in the episode. We'll talk. Yes. But that's kind of the main reason I think we're doing this is because the video game is so iconic. We're all 90s kids.
Yes.
Chris is rocking his N64 shirt right now underneath
I am.
his hoodie. So, you know, N64, we love it. Goldeneye is one of our favorite shooters of all time. So for our second, technically third MASH movie episode, let's do Goldeneye.
We wanted to do Goldeneye. And talking about the game just a little bit, I know you said we'll dive into it at the end.
Yeah.
The third best-selling Nintendo 64 game
Correct, yes.
of all time. It sold millions and millions of copies. There is a great documentary on the making of the game. I highly recommend people watch it. It just goes into how this game took essentially 2 years to make. It came out in 1997 when they were promoting the next
second Pierce Brosnan movie,
Yes.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yes, they were promoting Tomorrow Never Dies, and they say, by the way, here's a game from the last movie, and it did fantastic. Mostly,
what is the title of that documentary again? Do you remember?
Well, Dan, the documentary was called Golden Era. I believe you can watch it on. Yes, it is on Amazon Prime still, and on Tubi. Tubi's free.
Tubi, except you get like 8 hours of commercials on Tubi, but watch it on Tubi.
But it's free.
You don't even need Prime to watch it there.
Shout out to
Tubi. Watch it on Tubi.
But great documentary that goes into the history of the video game. However, we want to talk about the movie.
Primarily, yes. This is MASH Movies, our side quest of our side quest here, our side hustle to our main podcast, where we're talking about movies. And Chris, you're a big Bond guy. You were very, very excited to do this episode.
I love all James Bond movies. I know one of the previous episodes, I kind of took a dump on Sean Connery as James Bond. He was great.
It might have been a fair criticism, which actually this movie kind of dives into as well. I think we'll get into that later, how this movie is a little self-aware of the legacy of Bond. I felt like to the point where they even call him sexist, and that's probably because of Sean Connery's portrayal. But anyway, so we'll get into that later. So you love all the Bond movies. I
really do. Even the older ones, you have to kind of watch with like retrospective glasses.
Right.
This is the first movie coming out of Timothy Dalton's two roles as Bond, The Living Daylights and License to Kill.
Yep.
So License to Kill came out in 1989.
Yes.
And it was, I like Timothy Dalton, very gritty as a Bond.
That's what I heard, yeah.
But then the studio ran into a lot of trouble financially.
Right.
And they had talked about selling off assets, selling off the Bond franchise.
Right.
The Broccoli family, which owned the rights, got into a tizzy with MGM. It was this big, long dispute.
And it was that dispute and then also a lot of script rewrites and everything that kind of like delayed this movie because there was a pretty big gap between Bonds. I think I read like a 7-year gap between the last one.
This was one of the largest gaps.
And you know, there actually, I don't know how long of a gap we are between previous Bond movies, but it's probably going to wind up being a 7-year or longer gap now.
Yeah, it's
now that
getting
Daniel
out there.
Craig has retired as Bond. So, but anyway, that was a really long time. So they had to deliver a really great movie, and luckily, I think they did. I think really Goldeneye. At the time, I don't think anyone would have dubbed it a reboot, but I'm going to say it's a little bit of a reboot. Would you agree with that?
Anytime you add a new character to the role, yes. Because you can play off of, you know, Roger Moore's movies kind of, if you watch all the Roger Moore movies.
Yeah, and I have seen some of them.
Yeah, because like the character Jaws and stuff, you know, makes
reappears a couple of times.
Yeah, there's subtle callbacks, but you can watch them all individually.
Is it Blofeld from the Connery ones or the Roger Moore? Quick, look to Wikipedia. No, so what we're saying is there are some continuity things that do carry over. And this one has a tiny bit of continuity that carries over. The guy who gives James Bond his gadgets is the same guy from the previous films. They do recast a bunch of people, which is why I think this one is kind of like a reboot. But it is a great reboot, in my opinion.
We're going to splice out that question, by the way.
Yeah,
Blofield's appeared in like 5 movies.
Okay.
Even as recent as 2021.
I feel like we actually have a lot of splicing to do this episode now, but...
Oh, God.
Oh, geez, we're trying to go to bed. Gil needs to sleep tonight.
All right,
anyway, see, that's what I was saying about Blofeld, because he's kind of like the inspiration for Dr. Evil. Okay, anyway, splice points, start...
And we're good. All right.
Oh, one of us has to talk.
All right.
Blooper.
Oh,
I love it. We got to really cut that out.
We do.
All right. Anyway, so moving on. All right. 3, 2, 1.
So let's talk about Pierce Brosnan. This is his first role as Bond. Stepping into the role, Timothy Dalton did a really gritty, aggressive job playing Bond. His contract ran out when all the studio stuff was going on behind the scenes. So Timothy Dalton said, hey, I'll step away from the role. A young Pierce Brosnan enters the scene who's done television. He's done some movies too, but this is arguably his first major role. Anytime you step into Bond, at this point, James Bond carries the weight of, who's going to be the next Bond? This is a really big role. It can define a career.
See, now for me as a kid, though, it was, this is the charming British man from Mrs. Doubtfire's Bond now? Because my household is a Mrs. Doubtfire household. We all love that film.
That's a great film.
Yeah, but I thought he did a great job stepping into the shoes and driving the BMW as Bond. I thought he was suave and smooth.
He was.
And I thought he cracks a lot of funnies.
He really
does. Now, you're the Bond expert. Does James Bond quip as much as he does?
Yes.
He had a license to quip here. Like, anytime he killed somebody, you were getting, like, a Schwarzenegger one-liner.
You were getting some sass. So that's kind of how Bond is.
Yes.
If you watch every iteration of Bond, even the Daniel Craig ones, even though he's a little bit grittier, they're still the one-liners.
Still one-liners.
That's just kind of how James Bond is written.
Sure.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
He's that guy you want to be, right? And he's so smart and quippy and funny. Pierce Brosnan brought a very suave direction back to the role.
He brought an air of class.
He
brought
did.
Classiness,
kind of like Roger Moore did, but younger. Because when you watch the Roger Moore ones,
he's actually kind of old.
He's great.
Right.
But when you see the fighting scenes, he's moving like a robot. Like it's not that good. But that's where you go swing the pendulum the other way. You get Timothy Dalton.
Right.
Great. In an action role. They're really trying to find the Sean Connery again, who is good at both. And Pierce Brosnan, nobody will be able to fill the original shoes of Sean Connery, but I thought Pierce Brosnan did a very good job.
I thought he was a great Bond. Like I said, as a guy who's mostly familiar with Bond from Austin Powers parodies of him, I thought he was a great Bond.
He was. But the other movies that Pierce Brosnan did, to me, don't hold a candle to this one. And it's probably because... to me, this was the first Bond movie I saw in theaters.
This had like a lot of pressure on it. Like it had to reboot the series and make it, and making money it did. I think it was in the top 3 or 5 highest grossing movies of the year. So it really kickstarted the Bond. It's funny, I rewatched the trailer before I came over, and I was like, this is a perfect trailer movie. All the scenes, like, if you splice it into a trailer, it makes a phenomenal trailer.
Yeah.
Great movie, even better trailer. I'll also, at this point, I'll just point out in my research, I found that this was the first Bond movie that was not based on a novel. Like, at all.
Correct.
Apparently.
Well, yes and no. So, Ian Fleming did not write Goldeneye. Goldeneye was actually the name of his resort.
Yes. I saw that. Yes. So I guess in a way it was sort of based on that.
It's a nod to Ian Fleming, but no, it's not based on one of the books that he wrote.
Yeah.
But it was a great script. We're coming out of the Cold War.
That's a lot of the movie is about how the Cold War has fallen and Russia is a little vulnerable now.
Yeah, very vulnerable. There's people that Prime Minister Michigan wants to do the right thing,
Right.
but there's still all these bad Soviets and Cossacks and blah blah blah. So it's a very easy story to tell, just kind of like coming out of World War II. Nazis were the big enemy,
right? Like not the James Bond, the Indiana Jones villains. Which the fun fact about Indiana Jones is that it was kind of like Spielberg's attempt to make something vaguely Bond related, because Spielberg wanted to direct a Bond movie, but they would never let him. It's something he still hasn't gotten over. Like in the press tour for his new movie, Disclosure Day, someone asked him, like, would you direct a Bond movie now? And he was like, well, they can't afford me now. So he still is not over it. He's still bitter.
I never knew he wanted to direct
He wanted to really badly, but they would not let him because he wasn't British.
Really?
You can fact check me on that one. That one I know for a fact.
In today's day and age of inclusivity and all this stuff.
He wasn't British enough.
Oh, you don't British there, right?
And I did read that the director of this movie was a New Zealander, I believe. So they were probably like, all right, you got an accent. Close enough. But real quick, let's just breeze through the plot of the movie. Essentially, it's Bond versus Trevelyan, who is his former partner.
Yes.
And they're trying to recover the stolen satellite weapon, the Goldeneye.
Yes. And what the Goldeneye weapon is essentially a EMP.
Yeah.
Which back then it's like, ooh, what is this new scary technology? And now if you play Call of Duty, you get 5 kills and you get one of these.
Right.
So it's not that big of a deal now. Obviously, in a wartime situation, it's still a big deal, but this is kind of like the newfangled thing.
Right. There was a lot of almost like newfangled technology. Like, I feel like in a couple of points, characters were like, I am going onto the internet. Yes. And it was like almost framed like in the audience, you'd be like, oh, wow, the internet.
Ooh, are they at an internet cafe?
What is this wild thing, the internet? I can't wait until the next James Bond movie where the villain is like an evil AI and it's like, ha, 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 I'm going to take over the world.
Here's a picture I created.
Look at this picture. Aren't the lines really smooth and perfect?
How come James Bond has 7 fingers? Curses.
Dang it, foiled again. But anyway, all right. So
back to the plot.
cutting edge technology back then, satellites and internet. That was the gadgets.
Well, and speaking of cutting edge technology, this was apparently the first Bond movie to use CGI.
And you know what I loved about this movie is that it used CGI sparingly.
Yes. Like, you could tell at points where they used it, but like you said, very sparingly.
Mostly for like the shots of the satellites, and in the Bond song, there were some CGI bullets and stuff.
The rockets that fired out of the helicopter. Yeah, very sparingly, but it did not take away from the movie. It's not like watching one of those older movies where they throw in this really crappy CGI and you're like, this takes me out of the moment.
Maybe back then they kind of knew, like, all right, CGI isn't that great. We got to kind of like pepper it in. We can't rely on it, because if we do.
Right.
But again, I think one of the coolest things about this movie to me was how practical all the stunts looked. Yeah. Like when somebody bungee jumped off the dam in the opening scene, like you could tell that is a man doing it. They legit bungee jumped. Like I thought I saw in my research that set the record for like largest bungee jump ever or something. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was cool. And then I also really loved early in the movie the stunt of Bond driving off the cliff to get into the plane. So let's talk about awesome.
That. So the movie has so it starts out in the factory level. Well, it starts out with the dam. And then they go to the factory
by the way,
level.
when it did, there were so many points in the movie as someone who's played the game hundreds of hours. Seen the movie once back in like 96, but like I was Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen
every time.
So many times. I was like, oh, there's the dam. They went to like the library. I was like, oh, there's the stacks.
So speaking of the dam, the thing I wanted to bring up with the book is apparently somebody wrote a book.
I saw this, yes. An adaptation of the movie that they added the scene.
They added the scene of what happened before the dam, which they used for the game.
Yes, the game like expanded on it and like borrowed that scene from the book.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, you pretty much see Bond, he's jumping off the dam. But in the game, you got to mow down a bunch of people, complete your objective
before
you jump off the dam. Yeah. So yeah, the stunts, the practicality of the stunts was awesome.
Yes.
One of my favorite stunts, too, was that scene where Bond takes the tank and he's chasing after Mishkin. Is that his name?
No, it was Ourumov.
Ourumov. Thank you, Ourumov.
Yeah, the commander of Russia's space division.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, when they're chasing him down through the city.
Yeah, and Bond is just driving that tank like through buildings.
We'll get there, but let's talk about.
I'm fast forwarding a little. Yeah,
let's kind of go over the plot.
Let's rewind.
So we're back at the factory here. And they're setting the remote mines for the time mines. Which,
again, that was something I had to point at the thing and be like, those are the same mines.
Same ones from Goldeneye. Yeah. So they're setting them for 6 minutes. James Bond sets one for 3 minutes. His partner, Alec Trevelyan, gets caught by Ourumov.
Yep.
And ends up shooting him in the head.
Which, by the way, the fact that he survives a gunshot to the head is...
So I wanted to talk
pretty
about that.
Point blank.
So was he in with Ourumov the whole time?
I don't think you ever really find out.
I think he has to be, though, right?
Probably. Because I mean, the details of how he started a criminal empire after almost getting blown up and literally shot in the face are a little...
Damn. Here's my theory.
Maybe that's expanded on in the novel. We'll have to read the novel and do Button Mash Dad's Mash novels next.
I can't wait to see that logo.
Mash novels. We're gonna have like librarian glasses,
monocles and stuff.
Johnny, can you get on that? We did monocles, library glasses.
I think that it was a blank.
Okay,
that could be because you don't see any blood. If you shoot somebody in the head, there's going to be things splattering.
That's what I was thinking too. But again, this is like a PG-13 movie. They're not going to show his brain spewing up against the wall. But so anyway, a little bit of a stretch that he survives, but he does, and he starts an evil agency.
Giannis Corporation or Giannis Syndicate.
Yep.
But so James brilliantly escapes. But one of the mines goes off in 3 minutes, which scars Trevelyan's face, which is like the easy movie trope of, oh, look, that's the bad guy. His face is mangled.
Right. And it's kind of a Blowfield has like kind of a mangled face.
Yeah.
So essentially, Trevelyan, 006, which we learn, Bond's partner, played by Sean Bean.
I love Sean
Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones fame.
National Treasure.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in so many good
He learns the hard way that one does not simply walk into a Russian research facility, or Mordor for that matter. But yeah, so Bond thinks he's dead, has to escape.
Yep. And then the way he escapes, he takes a motorcycle, chases a airplane.
This is an insane idea. As this was going on, I was like, there is no way this is going to work. And obviously, I know Bond has to survive because it's plot armor. But I was like, how the heck is this going to work?
I was just wondering how they shot the scene where he jumps off the motorcycle and gets into the plane. Like, obviously,
I think they somehow green screened the actor into that.
No, they didn't.
I could have sworn.
So it must have gone a little bit faster.
But
I would love to see behind the scenes of how they shot it.
Maybe on the DVD, which I rented from the library.
Ooh, I got the 2-discer upstairs.
Okay, maybe after this pod, let's watch some special features. Nah, I'm going to bed after this. It's getting late,
too.
People.
It is getting late. But fun first scene of the movie. And
yeah, excellent opening.
Oh my god,
thrilling, great stunts.
Yes. And even my wife Monica was just like, "There's no way! Like, come on!" Like, she's like, "Really? This is what's gonna happen?" Mm-hmm. That plane would have crashed by now. I'm like, "It's a movie. Stop ruining it. It's a movie."
I mean, if we're being real, James Bond has bedded enough ladies at this point that he would probably have like 40 STDs. But
we're gonna be real here. So then the movie. After the opening scene, flash forwards 9 years later.
Yep.
So by this point, the Soviet Union is dissolved.
Yep.
Everybody should be happy.
Zangief has switched to soda from xvodka.
Yes.
He's in a good mood now.
Very good. He's in shape.
Yep, he's in shape finally. Sober. He lost 80 pounds.
So Xenia Onatop, which goes with every trope of Bond villain names.
You know, as a kid playing the video game, I was like, why is her name Onatop? And after watching this movie, she likes to jump on top of people.
She's got some fetishes.
Got it. Yeah, okay.
Don't
now
let
I get the
kids
name.
walk in the room when that movie plays.
Which, that's Famke Jensen, a.k.a. Jean Grey in the X-Men movies.
Really?
Kind of a departure from that character.
That's the same actress?
That is the same actress, yeah. Huh. You take away the Russian accent, and she's an X-woman.
Wow.
Yeah, from the first 3 X-Men movies.
Really?
Yes, absolutely, dude.
I
And
did not know
actually,
that.
fun fact I was going to bring up later, but while we're talking X-Men, I'll just
Let's
bring it
go.
up now. The hacker with the Hawaiian shirt closet full of Hawaiian
Boris.
shirts, Boris, played by Alan Cumming, who
Yes.
later played Nightcrawler in X-Men 2.
Yes.
And also confirmed
That
to be coming back for the new X-Men Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. But
He
so
had nasty
this movie
teeth
has
in
2
Goldeneye,
future
by the way.
X-Men.
He
Don't most Brits, although he's playing a Russian?
He's playing a Russian, but his character was so annoying. We'll get into him.
Still better than Austin Powers' teeth.
Oh, yes, way much. So on the top was a known member of the Giannis crime syndicate.
Yep.
They're trying to steal his Tiger attack helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
So again, more scenes from the game where they're
Yeah.
on the frigate where the helicopter is.
Mm-hmm.
Although some of these levels from the game are just touched upon in the movie.
In fact, there was some stuff in the game that they added to the game that was not even in the movie, or they expanded on. One thing I was going to bring up is James Bond doesn't gun down countless random goons in the movie like he does in the video game. There's always, so they had to add more goons in the game.
And there was no driving in the video game.
Yeah, I did notice
he didn't
that.
drive the Aston Martin or the BMW, which, by the way, that BMW, as a kid and as a teenager, was my favorite car. I thought if I have a dream car, that was my car at that time. I loved that thing. So, again, talking about EMP. And this is Judi Dench's first appearance as M.
Yeah.
And they even bring up her predecessor.
Correct.
Pierce Brosnan does. Talking about where he keeps the good liquor, and she goes, "I prefer whiskey."
Right. I thought actually her role, she was almost kind of social commentating on the character of Bond in a nutshell, because she has that one line. I think it's in the trailer too. I think she calls him a sexist misogynist or a sexist pig.
Yes, sexist misogynistic pig.
Yeah, and I was I feel like that's a little fourth wall breaking by the script writers being we know how you guys perceive Bond, but this Bond is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, which
he's not really misogynist. He's a flirt, that is for sure.
And yeah, he
even Moneypenny though, I think at one point tells him I could get you in trouble for sexual harassment.
Yeah, exactly.
But the script is a little aware of the baggage of
Bond. It's
a
little flirting back and forth.
Yeah,
it was done well. You could watch it and be all right, I don't feel cringy watching it.
Yeah, definitely.
But with Sean Connery, she says no, he says yes. She says no, he says yes, even firmer. And then she just falls for him
no means no, Sean.
Doesn't hold up too well.
Yeah.
But again, all the flirting and stuff, it was perfectly fine. And then we talk about, then we go into where you meet Natalia Simonova, who is the main Bond girl, but also isn't just some pretty girl, right? Mm-hmm. She's a computer programmer.
She's a lot smarter than she seems in the game, where I feel you're constantly escorting her places and saving her butt.
So helpless.
It's actually, I thought, really funny later in the movie when Bond finally meets her. I'm jumping ahead. We can get back in a sec. But
we can, yes.
When he first meets her, she's literally shrieking at the top of her lungs at him, wake up, Mr. Bond. It's just this is actually pretty accurate to the video game. Yeah. She's completely helpless and she needs help.
Yeah, where can I just run away from her and let her die?
Right. I mean, Chris, I'm gonna admit something on the air. I know please. You probably did this too.
Oh, we'll
Not
see here.
Did you, but how many times do you think you killed her in the video games?
I blatantly took a golden gun and shot her repeatedly.
I would put her on big head mode so I could shoot her character even easier.
I remember there was one time is in a later level where she carries the Magnum gun.
Yeah.
Very powerful weapon in the game. And I remember one of my first playthroughs, I'm I want that gun. So naturally, a video gamer, I go, if I kill her, I get the gun. You shoot her, she does not drop the gun.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. It's the programmers knew, hey, they're going to kill her. Let's not give them the gun.
It was always the easiest way to rage quit a level for me when I screwed up some objective, or I was I'm bored of this. I just turn to the right, and then she would flop on the ground, and then you'd get the red thing that would be like objective failed.
Yeah.
It'd be like mission protect Natalia failed. It's like, I failed it pretty spectacularly on purchase there, on purpose.
Successfully.
Yeah, not purchase.
So the movie talks about the Goldeneye space weapon, which is capable of shooting EMPs.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 of them.
Yeah.
And so apparently Russia doesn't know this. So Bond is tasked with working with the CIA, finding the inn, which is one of my favorites. Characters, a former KGB agent turned gangster, Valentin Zhukovsky, played by none other than, do you know who plays him?
Oh, I don't know if I looked that one up,
one of his biggest roles. He's passed away now. Played Hagrid.
That was him?
That was him.
Really?
Yeah, like that's Hagrid.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I did not notice that was him. I should have, since almost everyone in the cast is British, but... Oh, all right. Robbie Coltrane?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because Bond keeps getting shot at by Zhukovsky.
Mm-hmm.
Like tries to aim for his crotch. He's mad at
that was
Bond.
pretty funny.
The whole thing. And even with his mistress that's singing terribly. And Bond goes,
that was pretty funny.
Who's strangling the cat? Strangling the cat. And just looks at her. Take a hike. I love that part of the movie.
That's
So good. So Zhukovsky helps Bond out. Then you meet Natalia and you meet Boris. Boris Grishenko.
I am invincible. By the way.
Hate those lines. But he did a good job of playing the character. Yes. I hated him.
Right.
So then you get to the point where the facility blows up.
Which, by the way, facility, great game, great level from the game.
Yes. Oh, such a great one.
Yeah.
And you get to go back there twice.
Yeah.
So the satellite is fired on the facility, blowing it up. Boris survives. Natalia survives. Ourumov doesn't know that there were 2 survivors until Michigan tells him.
Right.
So it kind of puts a little foil in their plans.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get that tank scene, which I also really want to know how they shot that.
I did see something about they had to like change the tread on the tank to be like rubber or something so it wouldn't like rip up the streets where they shot it.
That makes sense.
I saw something about very creative editing they used a lot of, but yeah, it does look like he's wrecking a good portion of that city.
And it's just fun to watch.
It's just great car chase.
Yeah.
And I gotta say Bond is extremely proficient at driving a tank, by the way. I don't know how much tank practice he got before that, but I guess the man can do anything. Yeah.
He's so good at it.
He's great at driving that tank.
So after that, they get on the train, the Soviet train.
The train level, by the way, that was one of my favorite levels in the game. I would play that one all the time just because it was so straightforward and just satisfying. You just like shoot all these guys that would pop out at you.
Yes, and one of my favorite parts is when Natalia is trying to break through to get Boris's password.
Yeah.
And they hint to it at the beginning of the movie. You sit on it, but you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
And I knew the answer was chairs.
Yeah.
And my wife's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
She's like, bottom?
Hurry up, the house is going to blow up.
And I'm like, well, it's Monica, it's chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, so I felt really smart for that.
I also really love that part in the game where you'd use the watch laser to like cut out the floor. So
I always would kill people.
That was probably one of my most played missions in that game for sure. The train.
I love running through the train with the watch and just when you have infinite ammo.
Yeah, it was great.
And then my wife also pointed out that the red star that's on the side of the train, we have that a similar looking star hanging in our dining room.
Oh, nice.
It's supposed to be a decorative piece, and now she's like, great, I think people are going to think that we're KGB or something. Which we are not, by the way. We love America. But yeah, the train level, just great with the tank and everything. Although I don't know how a tank can get in front of a fast-moving train.
Right.
So that took me out of the moment a little bit, but it was fine. And then... we forgot to talk about the scene where it's revealed that Giannis is actually Alec Trevelyan, the old 006. Good twist. Because you don't see it coming because you see Alec get shot in the head.
Well, you don't see it coming unless you saw the trailer. I was watching the trailer before I came over, and in the trailer, you literally see that scene. I think the voiceover is like, it's Bond versus the guy who knows him the best, his former partner, who you thought got killed in the first part of the movie, but he did not. But anyway,
I
saw some commentator on it being like, can you imagine if this got spoiled for you by the trailer? It wasn't that dramatic of a reveal, I thought, but
no, but it was a good reveal for the movie, and then dealing with the helicopter scene where they narrowly escape from it blowing up.
You got a little bit of a stretch that he lives, but I do like this movie's spin on that, having his former partner be the villain of the movie. I think it gives the movie more of personal stakes, especially when they have their big blowout fist fight towards the end of the movie. But anyway, going back to the plot, so they get out of the train.
They get out of the train, and then they go to Cuba.
Have a little margaritas on the beach, a little and then rolling around in the sand.
And what I actually liked about it is Natalia just saying, like, why do you do this? Just kind of questioning the character of Bond.
Right.
Like, how can you kill people and be so cold inside?
Right.
He said that's what keeps me alive.
I like that Bond stops rather than immediately trying to save the world to be like, let's just have a nice romantic date in Cuba before we go.
That's every Bond movie.
I know, but in the back of my head, I was like, dude, but he could set off the Goldeneye laser and you'd be over here in Cuba chilling.
Take this pretty girl to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all the computers in the world are disabled, but at least I got a night with Natalia out of it.
But I got a cute girl. Right? Yeah. So then they're looking for the Goldeneye. They're looking for the satellite dish. So it's revealed to be in a lake. That was pretty cool. Apparently, in real life, that place is sadly destroyed. It was a real place.
Oh yeah, I did come across that.
But it was destroyed.
Sure.
Because it wasn't used.
Yeah.
And then you got everything going on inside the facility with the time mines again.
Yes.
Love and the grenades mines. And everything just kind of starts coming to a head here. And then before you know it, they reveal what they're trying to do. And Alec Trevelyan was going to use Goldeneye to blow up the Bank of England. But transfer all the money out first.
Right.
And then essentially just no one will know that they stole all the money.
Right.
Maybe have, quote, more money than God. Yep. And then send the UK back to the Stone Age because of financial collapse.
Right.
And then James Bond says, you're nothing more than a bank robber.
Right.
And it just pisses him off.
Yeah.
But decent plot for a movie. A decent motive.
I thought it was a good plot for a Bond movie. There was a lot of globe hopping and a lot of various locations. And like I said, I do think having him be 006 to Bond's 007 gives the movie a little bit more personal stakes.
I like that. Yeah, it was different. Because you only hear about 007. What about the others?
Right. What about numbers 1 through 5 and all the rest?
Yeah. So very interesting. The movie ends with Trevelyan and Bond fighting on top of the satellite dish. Yeah. And really, just the way they shot it with Trevelyan falling off and Bond reaching over to grab him by his foot.
Yeah.
Just to save him. And Bond, for England, James? No, for me. Boom.
I remember that line in the game, too, and it had like that text.
And my favorite part is, so he falls. He should be dead, but he's like
somehow he's not. Yeah.
Until the satellite dish falls on him and kills him. Like, okay, now he's really, really dead.
Yeah.
And then of course Bond gets the girl. Right. Everybody listens.
Well, he doesn't quite get the girl because I think he wants to get some nookie in the forest there, but then it turns out all the Marines are inside of the hay bales.
Yep.
So, but the implication is he eventually gets the girl.
He gets the girl.
Right.
And the day is saved. Overall, great movie. It was the fourth highest grossing movie of 1995.
Yep. Made a lot of money.
Made a ton of money, and it secured Brosnan as Bond for a couple more movies. which were kind of subpar, but
seemingly diminishing returns, but
then going into the game,
yes,
2 years later, the game comes out, just as Tomorrow Never Dies comes out, and the game follows the movie pretty well. Obviously, you have to take some liberties.
Yes. Yeah.
You have to take some liberties, but the story stays the same. Apparently Rare was allowed to visit some of the sets.
Yes, I did see that. They let him visit a couple of times. I think they might have also been able to like photograph some weapons and costumes.
Yes, yeah, they had access to that. They created some of their own weapons, like the Klob.
Iconic weapon named after Ken Lobb. Yep.
Which has been referenced in many other games since. The multiplayer on this game was a last-minute thought that was slapped together.
Yeah, I think I was in my research seeing that it was like one dude's work, essentially, mainly, to make the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I also really loved that all the guns in the video game sound just like the guns in the movie. Did you notice that? At one point, I think someone fired a KF-7 Soviet, which was one of my favorite guns in that game. Almost all the guns in the movie sound like the guns in the game. So I don't know if Rare was able to borrow the sound effects or something, but
maybe
they do sound a lot alike.
So I know that this was apparently one of the first games that had different parts of the body would
I saw that too, and that did make it feel
like
a little
headshot
more real.
Would darn near kill him,
right? They would recoil in pain differently based on where they were hit.
Yeah, if you shot them in the leg or the arm or the stomach, they would act different and take different damage. So very interesting. I didn't know that was the first game, but you see that quite a bit now. And the game purposely added extra rooms that weren't going to be used just to kind of flesh out the level, which, again, brilliant, right?
Yeah,
and I remember the facility.
Made the game feel bigger than it was.
Yeah, the facility for sure. Like, do I need to be here? Why should I be here? Again, just
kind of let you explore a tiny bit.
Yeah, it breaks away from the linear part of the levels.
Yeah.
Apparently, they were thinking of making it like Virtua Cop and making it on the rails.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
glad they didn't.
Well, I even saw, you probably did too, that at one point when the game started, it was in the Super Nintendo days, and they were thinking of making it like a 2D platformer.
Country.
Yeah. Bondy Kong Country.
Yeah, you throw a barrel to get Natalia as your sidekick, maybe. But that was very interesting too. Obviously, I mean, this game is so iconic. I can't imagine it anywhere else but the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
The controllers work pretty well. The controllers don't age well.
And actually I was just reading about this the other day too, and it's because of the way the analog stick is designed. It's plastic grinding on plastic to like register the movement, so that's why the controllers get so loose after a while. But the N64 controller in your hand while playing Goldeneye just feels right.
It does.
Just does. But
it's such a fun game. The multiplayer part was obviously the biggest part, and that kind of led the way for big multiplayer games like Call of Duty, Quake, all these other games. Kind of Halo, for instance. Halo's a huge franchise that owes a lot to Rare's Goldeneye. A couple other Goldeneye games came out.
Yeah, we can talk about those a little bit.
We can gloss over them. They're not that good. They're
no Goldeneye 007 for the N64.
So they shouldn't call it Goldeneye, then, right? I mean,
right. Well, they're trying to milk the name a little, I think.
Yeah, but that kind of pisses fans off, though.
Yeah.
But nothing can be like the original. They talked about doing remakes for it as far back as the Xbox 360. Licensing is a terrible thing. Everybody wants their money.
Right.
And eventually it did get released.
It did get re-released. That was kind of a big deal, so they could get it on the Switch shop and the Xbox shop.
Yep.
But
it's nice to see Nintendo.
I almost never thought it would happen because of the issues, like you said, with like having to get the Bond people on board, having to get Rare on board, and Rare was bought by Microsoft, but eventually they realized they could get money.
They all play nice in the sandbox for us fans, so thank you.
Xbox is pretty good, Microsoft, about playing nice with Nintendo, and this was another example of them playing friendly with Nintendo so they could both get a little extra cash out of it and make things nicer for modern day gamers.
Yes. Now, did you know this about the game? I didn't know this until later, that the developers put in Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, George Lazenby.
I did hear about that.
They put in all the other Bonds in there, and they would all play as them. But at the final game, they couldn't get the rights to.
I think it was Sean Connery. Wanted money. I actually loved that as a kid. That like for the multiplayer mode, you could play as some of the characters from the other games.
Yeah,
that actually made me go to the library and then rent some of those movies, and that's why I love Live and Let Die is one of my all-time favorite Bonds.
Oh, that's such a good one.
But
that's a Roger Moore one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I loved Roger Moore.
That's the one that's, I think, mostly in New Orleans or whatever.
Yeah,
that's where that Baron Samedi guy with the white hat is from.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I got to ask your opinion, though. How do you feel about Odd Job for multiplayer? Is he allowed? Or because in my basement, when people come over, I say no odd
jobs. Yes, I agree.
Either we're all Odd Job or no one is. Yeah, and you can't all be Odd Job.
Odd Job is cheating.
It's cheating. He's too short. It's too hard to hit.
Yep. Odd Job is absolutely cheating. No, not allowed in my house.
Yeah, same here.
Nope.
You heard it, internet. Butt Mash Dads, we're not Odd Job guys.
No offense to Odd Job. Which Odd Job wasn't that short. I don't know why they made him so tiny.
Playing as Jaws is like playing on hard mode because he's so tall.
Yeah, he's huge. Jaws was great too. It was great to see all those characters in there.
Yeah.
And then all the other levels you can unlock from other movies.
Yeah, it was pretty cool too.
It was really cool. Overall, great game. The people that designed that game went on to form Free Radical, which did Time Splitters.
And they also did Perfect Dark, the spiritual sequel, where you could unlock some of the guns from Goldeneye.
Yep, like the Klopp, for instance.
But why would you? The Klopp is a really bad gun.
Just for the nostalgia.
It's fun. Well, you could dual wield Klobs, and then it's kind of okay. But
then it's chaos.
Yeah.
But very good game. Very fun to explore. There's things that were cut from the game, like in the dam level. There's supposed to be a boat that took you to a different spot.
The boat sequence is cut. I had in my notes, they cut the whole casino scene where he first meets Xenia. That's out of the game. Some other little stuff too got cut. But
the boat part in the dam level, you could see the place where you could go.
Right,
you like everything was loaded. There. Yeah, you just can't go there.
So, and obviously, any of the scenes where Bond drives a car in the movie is not in the video game. So they added some stuff, they fluffed some stuff out, but they took out most of the vehicle stuff.
Like,
which makes sense.
I didn't need
given the technical limitations of the time, it makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't need to play Baccarat on the Nintendo 64.
I mean, if they remade it today, Red Dead Redemption style, I'm assuming there would be Bond playing cards stuff.
Oh yes, there would. Which would be a good game, by the way.
Well, what do you think? Should we do our closing thoughts and then get into our rating of how many Goldeneyes?
Yes.
How many out of 10 Goldeneyes would you give it?
So overall, the movie to me still holds up. It's a good movie. The technology piece kind of doesn't hold up. Which, by the way, Q, such a great guy.
Yeah.
That comedy is great. But the movie to me still holds up very well. I would say, looking at it from today's standards, I give it an easy 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10? Okay.
Yeah.
I would also say I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm not as big of a Bond guy. I've probably seen approximately 10 of them, and it was like in 1996, so we're talking 30 years ago now, so my memory is a teeny bit hazy. But on the whole, I thought it was a really great way to restart the series. A little bit of self-aware commentary. I liked that characters kind of commented on the legacy. I like that it was a personal story. of two partners kind of duking it out.
Yeah.
The chemistry between Bond and the two girls in the movie was also pretty great, I thought.
Yeah.
And so overall, I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
8 out of 10. I'm going to say it's probably, if not the best, one of the best Bond movies I've ever seen. So 8 Goldeneyes out of a possible 10 Goldeneyes.
I will say it is definitely the best Pierce Brosnan Goldeneye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He started off hot. It was just the best one. And I think a lot of it, to be fair, is because of the game. I think the game helps elevate
movie. That made me love the movie even more. Like I said earlier, I was the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme, like, there's the mines, there's this, there's that. Like, all the stuff that I've spent so much time like seeing in the N64, but in movie form.
And I think that's why I love the movie so much, is because of those memories playing the game. I think without the game, the movie is still good.
Right.
But we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
Right. We had to bring it up because we're MASH Movies. We're a video game and a movie podcast, so we had to talk about it.
And like, Tomorrow Never Dies, or has a game. All
for
the other
PlayStation.
All these other
World
Bond
is
movies,
Not Enough has one.
The World is Not Enough. They all have games. We're not talking about them.
Right.
Because they don't hold a candle to Goldeneye.
Yeah.
Which we're still talking about 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're coming up on 30 years of that game.
Yep.
And we still talk about it because of the impact that it had.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, I think the movie elevates. I think Daniel Craig's movies are among my favorites.
Yeah.
I love Roger Moore's movie. I love them all. But that one to me, given that place and time, and that since that was the one I grew up with, that was my favorite.
Right, we were 80s kids, but we were raised in the 90s, so this was like our introduction to Bond, and so that's why Pierce Brosnan will probably always be our generation's Bond.
Yeah, and my wife kind of has a crush on him, so I mean, I think that's her favorite Bond too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate you checking out another episode of Button Mash Dads, MASH Movies, our side quest.
Thank you for listening to our side quest and participating. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what other video game movies you'd like us to do. There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, give us a suggestion in the comments, and go check out our Mario movie review if you haven't already, and our Street Fighter one as well.